Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode, as promised, the Russia game. Obviously, we're away from home. It's still the European League. That strange competition that we've got. So far, this is what the table looks like. Germany have managed to beat Russia as well, so it will be very important for us to beat Russia today, or at least get a draw, just so we don't get relegated. The aim was always to not get relegated. In terms of the board, I don't think they've actually set me any sort of expectation. I don't think they're too stressed about it. But personally, I do want to remain in the Division League A, basically. I guess Division A. So just so you get a clear look at things, because I don't think I actually did this before. But you play each team. There's just 3 teams in your group. You play each team twice, which obviously makes a number of 4 games. There's no player restrictions or anything like that, but we do qualify immediately to semi-final. What I got distracted by was actually the relegation bit here, which says bottom team is relegated to European League Division B, which is, as you can see here, not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but just not the type of nations we want to be associated with. We want to try and stay in the top 10 sort of thing. But yeah, anything else is kind of standard, and we do have Russia to show for today's game. We don't have back-to-back games, unfortunately. We won't be showing you the Germany game until next episode. We have played the friendly against America, the United States of America, and that was a horrible 1-0 loss, really. I don't think anyone had a great game at all. But hopefully just, my team were taking it easy, I suppose, because it was a friendly, and I'm hoping to see a better result here today against Russia. So let's go through who we selected for the national team, who deserved an international cap and whatnot. I quickly went through the positions, by the way, to see if there was anyone who or any need to change formations, but still the 4-1-2-1-2 seems to make the most sense. A lot of our talent is packed into the midfield and striker areas, despite us sort of being in this weird transitional period of players, who's good enough, who's bad enough and whatnot. But anyways, for goalkeepers we went for Butland, Forster, Heaton. Joe Hart actually gets dropped for today's game, well, actually for the whole international period, I suppose. Reason being is he's played enough games, which is great to see, but unfortunately he doesn't really cut it for form, basically. In terms of defense though, let's take it step by step actually. So left backs is Shaw and Rose. I think that's still pretty straightforward. Things have become a lot clearer. All these other players here aren't performing as great. Cresswell, who we could have relied on for a while there, he's unfortunately dropped with West Ham to the Championship, and we're not going to pick him as long as he's in the Championship. As good as he is and as great form he is in, he's in the Championship, so I can't seriously consider him. In terms of right back though, Klein, and the backup is always a little bit of a tussle between Walker and Ward, and Walker's the one who wins out this time just because of his European Champions Cup basic experience, Champions League experience, as well as playing for a team like Tottenham, who it's not about them being a bigger club, it's just about them having performed better than Crystal Palace in the league. In central defence, Smalling, Keane and Jones are still struggling for some serious game time, but thankfully John Stones seems to have put a horrible season behind him last year, and he's actually getting some game time there at City. Despite still being considered a rotational option, he has pushed in for some game time. Likes of Cook, Dan and me got called up. Shawcross, unfortunately, he did play well, or enough games rather, but not as well as these other players, so some potential first international caps for these players. Gary Cahill, he's surprisingly still held on. I thought he'd be like one of the other players who hit their 30s and drop off, but he's actually moved to Hull, and that move's helped him a lot because he has gotten the game time. Unfortunately for him though, he hasn't done as well as other players. He has done really well. I was really tempted to call up Brendan Galloway, as well. England under 21 international is better than seeing someone come through the youth. He's playing in the Euros as well, the Euro Cup, not the Euros. And he's actually featuring a lot more for Everton, so he's actually, I guess met the requirements of being called up, but unfortunately, again, it's just a question of form. So hopefully we'll get around to picking him, and he can succeed in England's senior setup. So in midfield, Dyer, Henderson, Lallana, Wilshere, James Ward-Prowse, Drinkwater, familiar names, Shelvey and Cork. All of these are kind of straightforward names. Somewhat lately anyways. The likes of Ward-Prowse has been introduced slowly, and so has Jack Cork. John Shelby. After getting promoted to Newcastle, he's featured quite heavily for us as well. But yeah, this midfield four of Dyer, Henderson, Ali and Lallana still kind of stands out. Unfortunately for us though, Dele Alli misses out because of his injury. Wilshere, he's managed to rustle up some game time. Prowse, Drinkwater, Shelby and Cork kind of straightforward. There are other central midfield options that were tempting, such as Ross Barkley, but I did actually have to make up for the mistake I made last time, which is have just one defensive midfielder. I need to actually make sure I have two this time, and Jack Cork was one of those players who's played well, played enough game time, minutes, and so he's a backup to Dyer. In terms of who we've got up top, I'm pretty sure you've seen Berahino was already there. Kane, of course, is a straightforward choice. Wilson and Sturridge as well. Sturridge is a bit of a straightforward choice. Wilson kind of a backup. And unfortunately, some of these players here who should be getting called up aren't getting called up because of their lack of game time. I think Troy Deeney is the only one, but when we pull him up to the B team or even main team, his ability drops. So it shows here he's 3 stars and on level with everyone else, but the truth is he's actually more 2.5. His ability has dropped just a tiny bit since he's hit his 30s. He has had a decent international career compared to how it is in real life right now. He's 12 caps and 4 goals isn't about anything to really complain about. But yeah, Harry Kane definitely still top dog. 39 caps, 12 goals. Not the best of returns. I think I haven't played him in his most damaging way, I suppose. Target man seems to be best, but complete forward on support should be a decent shout too. So it's a bit of a surprise that he hasn't performed as well as we would expect for the England national team. So that's what we've gone for, and this is the team we've gone for today. And like some Henderson, Wilshere, Ward-Prowse, Dyer, they make up our midfield. Kane and Berahino up top, Stones and Cook in the central defence. Rose and Klein are complementing the fullbacks as well. So yeah, I think we'll just kick off. We've got everyone here as you can see, and Rose has performed better than Shaw, so he'll get the nod, and that goes for a couple of these players. So hopefully we do see a great performance against Russia away from home. Always a tough fixture, and I hope to see just, if not a great performance, at least a point. That's the bare minimum. The expectations, however, is always a great performance and a great 3 points as well, to seriously put some pressure on Germany before they play Russia for a second time, I think. So yeah, we've played them before and beat them 4-0 at home, so can we do it again? We're favourites of today's game and I would expect nothing else. It looks like, for some reason here it says we're huge underdogs. I think the odds expert thinks we're favourites, but maybe everyone else doesn't really. I'll still put up my money on my team. So let's see whether we can encourage them into a good performance. Like I said, the point that we need. So it should be kick-off here for England. Ward-Prowse playing in attacking midfield position. It's great to see him there as an advanced playmaker. Jack Wilshere will do okay as a central midfielder on support. Not his best position, but once we move him up, when we do go into control, if we move him into a central midfielder on attack duty, he can do that quite well, so no issues there. The real question is, can we see some more consistent, I suppose, performances from the likes of Berahino and Kane, who do happen to score, but they don't happen to do so too frequently. However, we are dealing with this Russia threat, and unfortunately we can't get it out the box, and will they punish us? Instead, Dyer's there doing the job of a halfback quite well, and dealing with the ball, getting in between his central defenders, and just dealing with it really. But yeah, Russia playing a 4-2-3-1, so it'll be interesting to see whether Russia's flanks or England's midfield will dominate this game. So far though, nothing too much has happened, but in terms of stats, it seems like we've edged it just a little bit. So Forster plays the ball forward, finds Kane, Klein's there, and unfortunately he misses out on it, or doesn't play the right pass. But can he win it back in and make amends? No, he can't. Instead, Russia on the attack. Rose misses out as well. Shatov all the way. No, Forster deals with that quite comfortably. And it looks like we might have to push into control a little bit sooner so we can really just pull away from Russia. We managed to do that before, but Kane's on the attack here. Thought he might put a good ball into the box. Instead it's with Russia again, and it's just back and forth and back and forth. So can we make our fourth count is the question. Russia will be attempting to do that here. They go out wide. And again, it's Cheryshev who's on the move. And look at that. Look at that. Who is that? Not him. Stones. Stones is absolutely just ball watching. Not having a single care for the player at all, and I think it's time to go into full attack mode basically. So push up a complete wing back on attack, and we'll play our wing back on support for Rose. Hopefully I will see better, movement in our flanks. Henderson can play on as a box-to-box midfielder, and Wilshere will play him as a central midfielder on attack, as well as James Ward-Prowse on attack as well. Hopefully a couple of these duties moving forward will see us perform better in front of goal as well. But so far, Russia 1, England 0, and immediately there's a highlight from kickoff, so hopefully it's us capitalizing on those tactical tweaks. Dyer does well to win it back. Klein, any support? Ward-Prowse through to Kane. Kane, can you put the ball into the box this time? Unfortunately, again, it's the same thing, and Russia on the counter, and can they do it twice in a row? Wouldn't past them, they really got, they're really motivated with this game, and there you go, our plan really falling apart here, and that's just down to the players. Not good enough. Hopefully a half-time telling off will actually see us perform better, but the way we played initially with the 4-1-2-1-2 convinced me that this was the right tactic to go for, but lately performances have dwindled. Not sure if teams have figured this out. I suppose it hasn't really been that long in terms of game time, so it is a bit surprising that's the case, but I'm really tempted to switch formations now and go into a 4-3-3. Maybe we'll see some better performances from some of these players. But either way, it's not over. It's not the end of the world. I suppose if we do perform horribly in this, we can consider for the Euros. But Berahino's on the attack here. Klein, can he score? Yes, he can. And there you go. Suddenly we're back in with it with a shout. Hopefully, it would have been ideal if we got that before Russia got their second, but we'll take it. This shows a response from our players, and maybe they won't immediately score a second, but at least there's the knowledge that they are trying to do something rather than just rolling over after me telling them off. There's the 60th minute here though, so we do have to start considering making some changes. Wilshere off for Shelvey is not a bad shout. Henderson off for Drinkwater as well. We need to make some attacking changes, however, but I think we can trust this front three here for a little bit longer. Just make the two changes for now and take off one of those players later on. I tell you what, let's move Kane and Berahino around and see if that makes any difference. Both of them are comfortable playing as a complete forward on support and advanced forward, which is a little bit unusual, but not too much. We've seen a couple of players capable of doing that, and maybe the switch around will actually help them perform better in goal as well. Harry Kane, captain for today's game. Can he inspire his team for all 3 points? Berahino though is the one with the assist and who has performed better. So we'll take off Kane for Daniel Sturridge. He's come off the bench before to score a hat-trick, so can he do it again? We need every bit of help we can get now, especially because Russia will be going into defense, playing defensively within the last 15 minutes of the game. There's us with a there you go. Didn't even get the chance to say it, but it was us with a corner, and Stones finds Cook, who scores, I think, his first international goal, and what a time to get it. It's not the biggest of competitions, but it is one where we want to perform well. So England 2, Russia 2, and we are on the attack here. Can Stones do anything of note? Dyer all the way back to Forster, just knocks it long, but James Ward-Prowse is fine. Drinkwater, Berahino, support role, he finds Klein, good ball into the box. Ooh, that was close, and Berahino almost completed the move that he started initially. But the highlight is not over yet, and is Russia on the attack. Thankfully, that clear-cut chance of the game did not amount to anything. Now Russia have been quite dangerous, so I'm not really tempted to go into overload. I think I'll wait it out a little bit longer. And suddenly they are with the corner. A free header, absolute free header. That's poor defending. My team, it makes me regret not picking the likes of, there you go. Good God, what was that? It makes me regret not picking the likes of Stones and Smalling and whatnot, but they really just haven't had any game time. Sometimes I get the feeling that I'm being too stubborn about that, but really, playing half of the Premier League fixtures available, starting half the Premier League fixtures available for your team is not a lot to ask for. It's just because the Premier League teams are all selecting foreign talent instead of English talent. But there is another highlight, so is it us who capitalizes or is it Russia? Time will tell. Let's see. Jonjo Shelvey, can he do anything? Ward-Prowse to Berahino. Can he find anyone through? It is almost makes it to Klein, and instead it's Russia on the counter. And they've tortured us in this counter. I really thought the control would help us. Instead, Shelvey puts a decent ball up to Berahino, but unfortunately we couldn't capitalize, and it's just a lot of back and forth. The Drinkwater, can he come away with it? Shelvey through to Sturridge. Berahino, come on, need to do a lot better than that. Absolute sitter without a doubt. But there is a corner, can we make amends? And that's the end of the highlight, so I don't think we can make amends. And it's unlikely that we will get a third. This does make for a very interesting game against Germany, because it would mean Russia are on 3 points, England are on 3 points, Germany are on 6 with a game in hand, and so that would pretty much set us up for a terrible game against Germany, unless Russia somehow managed to beat them, which I hope doesn't happen actually, because if that does, I've miscalculated, if that does, that's actually the worst thing to happen for us. But either way, it's tight, it's a lot tighter than the group should have been. Russia and Germany are never easy opponents, but I was hoping to see more from my team. So the end result is that we're just ahead on goal difference. Beating Russia 4-0 helped us, and it looks like in terms of the European League we've only got one more game to play, and hope we'll get to see how that pans out in the next international fixture, so keep an eye on that. That will be the next episode. In terms of when we'll be back, it will be, of course, just the Germany game. It might show you the Chile game as well. It really depends on how the Germany goes, or how the Germany one goes, and whether it's of any interest, really. Playing against Chile is an interesting friendly, but at the end of the day, it is a friendly. I'm sure you guys care more about international competitions and whatnot. We do have the Euro qualifications to start looking into in the year of 2019. As you can see, no fixtures, started yet, because of course we're yet to actually draw the Euros qualifications. I'll actually have a quick look through the calendar here, maybe it'll pop up. Alright. No, this is just a bunch of under 20 World Cup group stages, fixtures and whatnot. Alright, it looks like they haven't actually set a date for when the draw for the qualification will start, but either way, it'll be interesting to see that and then see how we perform in the Euros itself. But so far, not so good. Actually thinking of just killing this save entirely, because we haven't done really well, and the main focus is to show you how we did in the World Cup, and unfortunately we couldn't capitalize on that. So if we get around to the Euros and it's not really feeling anything, we might actually start a different save. So if you do have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section. Of course, if you would like me to continue the save, then great, but it's quite easy to get bored of international management because of how long it takes between games, and of course I have to try and show you some type of game, and a lot of them aren't of any significant note. So as you can see, a lot of these are great performances, a lot of these are greens, some of these reds don't really matter, the Ukraine, Slovenia, Belgium, all friendlies. But unfortunately, lately, after the World Cup, I would say performances have dwindled heavily, and whether that's down to the players or the tactics, that's kind of up to debate, but I would say if we lose against Germany, it's time for a change. But yeah, so that will be all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then of course, as always, please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching.